Okay, so we're on page 665, questions 14 through 19. Question 14, they're asking you to find x. First thing you notice is how many sides this polygon has. So you notice it has 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That means this is a pentagon. And if you want to find out how many degrees there are inside of a polygon, remember you have to use this formula, n minus 2 times 180, where n represents the number of sides. So since this is a pentagon, n is going to be 5. 5 minus 2 is 3. So I have 3 times 180, which is equal to 540. So I know that inside this polygon here, I should have 540 degrees. I know that this here is 90 degrees. Well, I can find x by adding up all these together and subtracting from 540, and that will give me x. So let's add up all these angles together, the 113, the 80, the 130, and the 90. 113 plus 80 plus 130 plus 90 is equal to 413 minus 540 that we should have inside the polygon gives me 127. So x is 127. For number 15, again, they're asking us to find the measure of angle x. Well, the first thing you want to know is how many degrees you should have inside this polygon. Well, how many sides do you have? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So what you have here is a hexagon, an irregular hexagon. So again, your formula, n minus 2 times 180, where n is equal to 6. So you have 4 times 180, and 4 times 180 is equal to 720. So you know that inside this polygon here, you should have 720 degrees. Well, the way that you find x is to add all of these together and subtract from 720. So let's do that. 125 plus 147 plus 106 plus 98 plus 143 gives us a total of 619. So 619 minus 720 gives us, let's try that again, 619 minus 720 is equal to 101. So x is equal to 101. The next question here, we have another polygon. They're looking for x. Well, we want to know how many degrees we should have in here, so we should know how many sides it has. Well, here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And if you're not ever sure how many sides you have, you can just count the angles, because the number of angles is congruent to the number of sides. They usually match. So if you notice here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 angles, so I know I'm going to have 7 sides. So again, my formula is going to be 7 minus 2 times 180. It's 5 times 180, which gives me 900. So I know that inside this entire polygon here, I should have 900 degrees. Well, the way that I'm going to find that is by adding up all of these together, subtracting from 900. When I add up all those angles together, I get 820. So if I add all of these together, I get 820. Well, 820 minus 900 gives me 80. So I know x is going to be 80 degrees. Questions 17 through 19 are actually a little bit easier, because here I can see that this is a regular polygon. All the sides are equal and all the angles are equal. So I have a pentagon here, and if you're not sure how many degrees are inside a pentagon, just remember, use this formula, n minus 2 times 180. By the way, that formula is on your reference sheet, where n represents the number of sides. So I have 3 times 180 is 540. So I know that inside this polygon here, I should have 540 degrees. But all of the angles are equal. So all I have to do is divide 540 by 5. And that's going to give me 108. So x is equal to 108 degrees. Next, I have question number 18. Again, the same thing. Well, how many sides do I have here? How many angles do I have here? I have, let's take a starting from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So this is a heptagon. So it's 7 minus 2 times 180, which is 5 times 180. 180 times 5 is 900. So I have 900 degrees here. But again, how many angles do I have? I have 7 angles. So 900 divided by 7 is 128.5. So each one of these degrees here, angles, are 128.5. Let me just double check my sides here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Yeah, divided by 7. And the last question that we have here is another shape. Well, how many sides do I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So what I have here is an octagon, and I'm looking for x. Again, I'm going to use my little formula here, which is n minus 2 times 180, which is 8 minus 2 times 180, which is 6 times 180 degrees, which is going to give me, I believe it's 1080. Yep, 1080. So inside this polygon here, I should have 1080 degrees. But I have 8 sides and 8 angles, and I'm looking just for the measure of this angle here. So it's 1080 divided by those 8 angles. It's going to give me 135. So x is equal to 135. And are we done yet? No, we're not done yet. We've got 2 more questions on the back of this sheet. Okay, over here we have a pentagon, and they want us to find the angles, the measure of each of these angles. Well, first of all, I know that these are 90, and I know that these are 90. And then I can also know how many degrees there are inside of a pentagon by using my formula, which is n minus 2 times 180, which is 5 minus 2 times 180, which is 3 times 180. And 3 times 180 tells me that in a pentagon I have 540 degrees. Well, if I have 540 degrees, I've already used up 90 and 90. So if I subtract 180 from 540, I'll know how much I'll have between these angles here. So remember, 90 and 90 is 180. So 540 minus 180 is 360. That means that I have 360 degrees left to divvy up between 1, 2, and 3 angles. Now from these marks here, I can see that these angles are congruent. So 360 divided by 3 tells me that each of these angles is 120 degrees. The next question we have here is they're asking us to find the measure of angle x. But notice we have 2 x's. So here we're going to have to use a little algebra. But the first thing you want to know is, well, how many degrees should you have inside this polygon here? Well, that's going to be easy to figure out because all we have to do is count the angles. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, there's a 2x there. I missed that as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I have 7 angles. So I know that I'm going to have 7 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 sides. So I have a heptagon here. And if I want to find out how many degrees there are in here, well, all I have to do is n minus 2 times 180, which is 7 minus 2 times 180, which is 5 times 180, and 5 times 180 is equal to 900. So I know inside this polygon here, I should have 900 degrees. But I'm looking for x. Well, I know that if I add all these things together, they should all equal to what? To 900. So let's do that. Let's add x plus 160 plus 150 plus 2x plus 150 plus 160 plus x is equal to 900. It looks pretty long, but all we have to do here is just put like terms together. By the way, this is 1x there and that's 1x there. Well, 1x plus 2x plus 1x is 4x. Plus, now let's add the rest of these numbers here. I have 160, 150, 150, and 160. Let's add those together. 160 plus 150 plus 150 plus 160 gives me 620. So that's 4x plus 620 is equal to 900. And I guess we can see here how this just becomes a simple algebraic equation from here. 900 minus 620 is 280 divided by 4, and x is equal to 280 divided by 4 is 70. So I know that x is 70. So then I know that this angle here is 70 degrees. This angle here is